So hi everyone, thank you so much. I'm really enjoying everyone's perspective on this course. So I hope that you guys can gain some insight into what I'm interested in. Today I'm going to talk about ecotourism in Hawaii and its effects on coral reef conservation and climate change. Hawaii is known for its lush greenery and its diverse ecosystems. The majority of Hawaii's economy is actually reliant on tourism, and therefore many businesses and locals need this to survive. However, tourism, when not done sustainably, can actually be detrimental to its ecosystems. So it's imperative that we maintain and protect these unique plants, animals, sea creatures that call Hawaii their home. So conservation biology is something that we've talked about in class, so I'm not going to touch on it too much here, but the most important thing to kind of note is the most recent shift in conservation, which occurred in 2010. It takes on an interdisciplinary approach to conservation, people, and nature, which essentially melds social and ecological sciences to meet the needs of environmental change, resilience, and adaptability, and socio-economical systems. These shifts have occurred in a relatively short amount of time so that we can predict that another shift is going to occur in the near future. One of the struggles that we really face with these quickly shifting ideals is the impact on scientific tools and techniques that may be unable to keep up. Now we're going to talk about the importance of coral reefs. This is really the main topic that I wanted to go over in my essay. So the biggest problem that we really face with coral reef conservation is the inability to align hazard mitigation and environmental management between agencies. So the World Bank is essentially a multilateral agency, and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, also known as the USACE, is a government agency and an insurance industry. Industry have all kind of worked together individually and acknowledged the need for more conservation needs, but they're still lacking the ability to work together to fight certain risks. One of the most at-risk coastlines in the United States is actually Hawaii, indicating that reefs have eroded more than 1 meter vertically over the past decade. The impact of these losses and their forecasted effects on flooding, and specifically Oahu, Hawaii, can be seen in this image here. Coral reef management and restoration is absolutely essential to improve reef health. However, at what cost? Specific funds will be needed to be administered to coral reef restoration and conservation specifically, and currently it's really limited. The funds themselves are important as they, essentially benefit the ecosystem management goals of the natural coastline. Again, we're going to continue with the coral reefs here. So they're massively important for our ecosystems, which I mentioned already, both underwater and on life on land, flood and tropical storm risk reduction, livelihood, and industry. 25% of all marine life depend on coral reefs, while 500 million people depend on them for food, income, and coastal protection worldwide. A total of $365 billion in services comes from coral reefs each year. And in Hawaii specifically, coral reefs are important both culturally and economically. Now, what is ecotourism? And really, why does it matter? Ecotourism is a connection between tourism and conservation. In practice, it means that we're traveling responsibly to natural areas, conserving the environment, and improving the well-being of the local people. There are many advantages to ecotourism, such as providing sustainable form for income of local communities. The practice itself will help to bring new jobs to the area, which will help provide residents with new forms of revenue, reducing poverty levels while increasing community resources and technology. With the technology now entering these communities, research and development efforts can begin bringing people closer together and to nature. So here we kind of have in this spreadsheet, just kind of a breakdown of sustainable development, the difference between ecotourism development, which is what I focused on, and regional development, which is more so about policies and really working with different entities, which I will talk about later on as well. We're going to continue again with ecotourism. This chart here, while I speak about it, just keep in mind, essentially it's describing a web search that was recovered and essentially how many articles or journals came up. So 737 journals came up with the word ecotourism in the title. Within a similar search, ecotourism as a broader topic recovered 2,389 articles. Over time, you can see that it actually is increasing. So people are trying to learn more about this or put this more into practice every day, which is good to see. And there's several types of tourism ranging from ecotourism, park visitation, recreational activities with ecotourism mentioned within those articles as well. Ecotourism itself helps to support conservation efforts by educating travelers of local practices, helping them to have greater effect on conservation. One significant challenge with ecotourism is that many people who seek these practices are already environmentally conscious, like ourselves. And that's really called the ceiling effect. Our goal is to reach out to those who may be underprivileged, uneducated, or misinformed regarding sustainable practices and traveling. So what do? We make these amazing organizations, and I like to call them the next generation of conservation. So I really wanted to highlight 4 different organizations that I found interesting. The first one being the National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration, which is essentially a part of the US Department of Commerce. And they work through providing science to citizens, essentially planners and emergency managers. The Sustainable Tourism Association of Hawaii, which has worked for over 25 years to innovate the initiative of ecotourism and have different programs which align with the values of protecting nature and cultural resources. There's also the Coral Reef Alliance, which is one of the largest non-governmental organizations focusing on conservation of our reefs, and they've been doing this for over 30 years. And then there's also the Nature Conservancy, which partners with academic researchers, resource managers, community groups, and fisheries to monitor coral reefs and reef fish populations. So we really can get involved. And this final slide is kind of a little bit of funny stuff. This is me, totally not seasick, going and exploring the reefs myself when I went to Hawaii. So I really hope that you guys kind of take on the adventure yourselves and check it out.